If women are only chasing the top 10, 15% of men, why are there still so many couples? Hi. Your post has been removed because we suspect you are attempting to pot stir or push an agenda. If you have any questions or feel this post was removed in error, please feel free to message the moderators https://www.reddit.com/message/compose to equals %2fr%2 faskmen. Have a nice day. I think there's a specific but decent sized demo of single women who have a lot of demands and expectations most women don't. Like wanting to be impressed, or the guy spending a lot of money, or the guy needing to look like a male model. These women are generally single, or in bad short-term relationships very often. They may not represent the average woman, but their whole thing means they'll be seriously overrepresented in the pool of single women looking to date. I think this is pretty accurate. I'm rarely single. I have never had a problem meeting men. But it's because I don't date that top 10, 15%. I date average guys who have realistic expectations. Since I'm also average with realistic expectations, even if I was aiming high, I don't think I would have any patience for a rich pretty boy anyway. Most people date and marry someone on the same attractiveness level as they are. I think this is most true at the top of the bell-shaped distribution curve for marriage age. At either end, both young marriage age end and old marriage age end, you see much greater discrepancies in attractiveness between partners. Yes, because older men can attract younger women for relationships/marriage, and younger people don't have much standards when it comes to dating. That's not true. There absolutely is a $TANDARD from what I've observed. I meant between young couples. 1. Not all women are chasing the top 10%. 2. Some of those that do will settle. 3. For some reason there are guys dating multiple women at the same time. Like seriously, I think married guys can get sex easier than single guys sometimes. 4. A lot of them change their minds after being used only for sex by those top 10% guys. In my own experience and what I see around me, guys already in a relationship are more attractive to a lot of women. A man who attracts women is attractive to other women. From my experience, there's only one girl that finds me attractive and it's my GF lol. Not sure if that's true for all. I'm kind of in the same boat with my wife, although I'm not sure she even finds me attractive lol. Only exception to that rule is older black women. They fucking love me for whatever reason. My son's friend's grandmom asked him, "When you going to bring your finer dad around?" And just a few weeks ago a group of them stopped me in Vegas while I was walking through the casino. Everyone starts off chasing dreams and then realizes the reality of their situation and adjust accordingly. Settling. Most people do some degree of it. Not me, my wife and I are both 10-0. Me and your wife are both 10s as well. Therefore you and you/signaling salt are both 10s. The only logical thing to do at this point is hook up. One person's top 10% can be different from someone else's. Also, it's not just women who prefer to date the top 10%. Most young men are obsessed with beautiful women who meet certain criteria. I know I was. It's not until they get older that their priorities change and they become more open to less attractive partners and focus more on personality. A very similar thing happens for women. Yet men act like it's this mysterious and unfair thing. This is still a simplistic view of things. Different people have different opinions in regards to what is attractive. For example, back in my college days, me and my friends meet a group of girls. I found the dark-haired goth girl attractive. My buddy liked the smaller, thinner, cute blonde attractive. My other friend liked the taller, more athletic girl. The goth liked Buddy A and the taller girl took an interest in me. It was a mess. Fun, but a mess. My point here is, your top 10%, even just taking looks into account, are not the same as everybody else's. They come to their senses when most realize that they're not in the top 10, 15%. Usually that realization comes a bit too late. As a guy in my 40s that's been on the dating scene off and on for a few years since my divorce, can confirm. Been running into a lot of the same women on the dating apps for quite a while. So I've been thinking about this since I turned 40 this year. Most data suggests that about 50% of people have secure attachment, while the other 50% have anxious or avoidant attachment. Since the numbers of people from age 20 to 40 don't really change as we get older, it stands to reason that those with secure attachment pair up, get off the market, and stay off the market. What that means is that, as we get older in the game, the percentage of people left in the pool skews more and more towards the 50% of people with anxious or avoidant attachment. So what might be left by 40, for example, might be 80% insecure attachment and very few people with secure attachment. It's just the brutal math of attrition. Those best suited for marriage and commitment get it, and stay that way. Those who aren't get thrown back into the pool. Consider that many of the people pairing up have an anxious or avoidant pattern, and just found a compatible partner. Compatible not necessarily in an exalted sense, just in the sense that they are drawn to what their partner is offering. Everyone is chasing the perfect person. IDK about calling people a percent. But I get what you mean. Eventually though, you meet someone that makes you laugh, or is a good time, and then end up hanging out with them. Then naturally slip onto a relationship. The people saying that 10% minus 15% s don't go outside. Yeah, this is high school shit. No, I'm in my 40s. Yeah, a lot of people never grow out of the high school mindset. Maybe, on Tinder or something. There's also the point that different women are into different things. It's like guys. Some guys are into asses. Some are into tits. Some only care about the face. Women are like that too. Only for funniness, confidence, intelligence, shyness, etc. I wonder what percentage of the commenters are single. I wonder what percentage of commenters have social skills and exercise, and are a joy to be around. Real life isn't social media. Most people are decent and reasonable, and connect on things a bit less shallow than the superficial stuff people on Tinder use to pick. This is exactly it. Most PPL date within their own status, so obviously a career women would want to be with someone that's on the same page with them. The few that you see on social media are usually college girls who still live off their parents' money, so they don't have a real sense of reality. But even then, most of the PPL I've met even in college were more focused on their own shit. Obviously it would be nice to marry rich lol, but I have yet to come by anyone that makes that their standard. Maybe they aren't only chasing the top 10-15% of men. Damn. How could Randus on 4chan lie to me like this? Because in life you have to make compromises. It's not a compromise to date someone on your level, sweetie. It is if you're completely blind to your level. Then you're just living in fantasy land. Occupancy. 1. Because most couples meet offline and most people fall in love with people they click with. Not everyone will have a deep connection with a guy just because he's pretty and rich. You need something more substantial to fall deeply in love. And attraction is a mix of who's your physical type, who you click with, and what their vibe is. The best sexual chemistry isn't necessarily with the prettiest guy you meet. Usually not. Pretty open-ended question. I will ask you something back. Source https://www. Cloudwards. net/online dating statistics/ are you looking only at short-term / hookup couples, or are you looking at long-term couples? Only 13% of people using online dating apps find long-term partners, while 42% of the users are looking for long-term relationships. Not a good return on your money in investment terms. Who is really using online dating? Well, 55% of LGBTQ+ community have used the online dating services, as opposed to 28% of straight, cisgender, adults. What about the length of dating? Usually 1 or 2 dates about 23% of the time. Very rarely does it go beyond this. So while you are seeing couples, are they really couples? Or are they just hooking up? More to the point that I was asking, will it ever turn to long term? The data says no. Edit. Why do we use online information? Because there are no data studies for real life as some would contend. Because that's not a true statistic. Because the internet is full of deeply frustrated people complaining, and often basing their entire opinion on apps that are 80% dudes, yet they somehow expect to play out evenly. Lies. It's not me. It's the women and the algorithm and the fact that I don't talk to women in real life and am immensely toxic and only want sex. I'm not deeply frustrated. I'm totally fine. Now leave me alone. I need to go study how to gaslight women into liking me. Because it's not only looks. Every woman in my friend group has different type. Not to mention you start liking a person you meet in real life because of their personality, humor, charisma. I have a crush on a guy I didn't notice for 6 months. Then my friend mentioned he would be a good match for me. I started paying attention and bam, huge crush. If I would meet/see him in a bar or dating app, I probably wouldn't notice him because he is not exactly my type. Also 6 photos and little blurbs aren't the best way for a guy to express himself. A lot of these people seem to think Tinder is the only way to show themselves off. Because they're not. Your premise is faulty to begin with. Sounds like you've been watching poors on YouTube. I suggest you cut that S out of your life entirely. What is faulty about his premise? It's a statistic. What does that have to do with poors? I don't think the statistic is quoted correctly here. I believe the correct statistic is 90% of women on dating apps are chasing the top 10, 15% of men on dating apps. Assuming less women use dating apps, 20, 50%. That would only mean that only, at most, 45% of women fall under this statistic. So it is possible that the other 55% of women who are couples are either from the minority on dating apps, did not meet through a dating app, or are part of the majority on dating apps but had a semi-successful relationship. The percentages vary based on the age group, geography and culture, making it a bit meaningless because it is too broad of a generalization. I believe the correct statistic is 90% of women on dating apps are chasing the top 10, 15% of men on dating apps. It's a little better in real life, I agree. But we all remember being schoolboys and watching our crush and every other girl in the class go after the same 1 or 2 boys. Of humans that made it to adulthood, 85% of women reproduced, while only 35% of men reproduced. That's a ton of men that died childless and alone. Which seems to hold that hypergamy is baked into our species' natural reproduction cycle. Redditors don't know anything about these kinds of topics. A lot of the S that's being said here doesn't actually happen in real life. Most women don't go for the top 10% of men either, lol. I'm average at best, but women smile and look at me constantly. A lot of people on Reddit who say they're average at best are actually good looking dudes who are just being humble, lol. They aren't only chasing the top 10, 15%. That's a silly manosphere talking point based on misunderstanding and misrepresenting a limited data set from dating apps plus anecdotes. Women chase the top 10 to 15% online. A lot of relationships are formed in person. Went to college together. Former coworkers. Friends of friends. In person mildly attractive can become great cause you actually keep the person. And how are we defining chase here? Even? I'm gathering that all we mean is that they swipe right on, or maybe match with, that top 10, 15%. That in no way suggests that they're actually meeting up with, forming relationships with, or having sex with those people. It seems to me that this phenomenon is explained almost entirely by the fact that men outnumber women on dating apps, which can be as high as 90% male to 10% female. They may want the top 10 to 15%, but ultimately they'll partner with the best guy they're able to get. Lol, this question suggests too much screen time. That's only online dating. Some of you guys should go outside. I went outside. Was just a bunch of people using their phones to go online. The whole idea that there is a top percentage of any people group is wildly off base. Different people fit and click with, and yes, even are attracted to, different kinds of people. One person's top 1% could totally disgust another. Also, what people look for in a relationship changes over time. So while initially someone might seek out physical attractiveness or financial security, those things may evolve to emotional maturity and integrity. Because they settle. Because most women aren't only chasing the top 10, 15% of men stop watching and eat ain't. Edit. If you get triggered by scientific studies, Time for some self-reflection. Women significantly discriminate more on race and other factors. //www. Stat. Columbia. edu/gelman/stuff_for_blog/Sheena. The top 5% of all men on a platform receives twice as many messages as the next 5% and several times as many messages as all the other men. Subjects expected men to pursue women 47. Additionally, on occasions, when a woman ever took initiative and started a conversation, she expected her partner to overcompensate by reaching out with more frequency. Even the most attractive men receive fewer messages than women. On average, women responded more selectively than men, answering 16% of the time compared to men's 26%. Reciprocation rate. Messages were 5 times more likely to have been initiated by a man than by a woman. Link. Springer.com/article/10. 1007/S422001-021-00132-W. If there are men of different races, white men will be more eligible than males of color. A high level of education will be demanded more in men than it is in women. Women will receive more responses to their own requests than men. //www. Science.org/doi/10. 1126/SciAdv. AAP 9815. Women will be more self-centered in their profiles and communication than men. https://pubmed.nkb NLM NE gov/26215718 Women prefer males who are physically more powerful and physically powerful men report more sexual partners than less powerful men. //pubmed.nkb NLM NE gov/17578932/80% of first messages were sent by men. Bruch and Newman. 2018. https://www.nkb NLM NE gov/pmc/articles/pmc 8,919,078/overall. The adverse effects of choice abundance in dating thus seem to apply particularly to women. Men accepting on average 34% more pictures of potential partners compared to women. Men accepting on average 25% more potential partners compared to women. The results of study 3 again showed that women, but not men, became more likely to reject partner options when online dating. In all studies, women became increasingly likely to reject potential partners, while for men this effect was either weaker. //journals. sajapub.com/doi/full/10. 1177/194855061986618 Men are 30% more likely to write the first message. Women are 30% more likely to take income into consideration when looking for a partner. //www. OII. Ox. Ac. UK/WP content /upload/ 2018/09/ computational courtship Dinet al 25 Sep 2018 PDF